Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Unloaded Uncovered podcast with me, your host, Magda. Today, I have the fabulous Diane Gilman. It's Gilman, correct?
Yeah.
Hi, Diane. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on. As I was telling you, I love the look. I really love it. It's like one of those in your face type of glam look. I love it.
Yeah, I can't help but be a little bit glam no matter what I'm doing. I have to put it out there. I don't know whether it's from 30 years on television, 15 years in the fashion industry, but I love it and I own it.
Oh,
Put it that way.
Yeah, you're definitely owning it. I will say that. You're definitely owning it. So how is life going so far?
Life is fascinating. We are going through such a bout of ageism in this country. And of course, the president stepping down and always highlighting his age. And hey, people, I'm about to turn 79 and I'm not about to cash in yet. I've still got a lot to do and a lot to say. I try and say parts of it through the way I put myself together and let my fashion be the message.
Awesome. You're about to be 79?
Yeah. Wow.
You don't even look a day over 21. That's amazing.
I definitely feel at over 21, but I think you get to a point numerically in your birthdays. Like I just had a friend turn 50 and he's a guy that loves to throw a good party, has a townhouse, and so I'll stand up for that. And I said, so you threw yourself a giant bash, decade birthday, 50. He said, no. I sat home for 2 days. There is a point in your life where you could be depressed that you're getting older, but there is a point, and 79 is one of them, where you're happy you're getting a year older. You're blessed you're getting older. You're grateful you still feel vibrant and active and healthy and like you've got something to contribute to society.
I mean, you have a lot to contribute to society. I saw your work. I saw what you did. Like, you were on QVC, you were in fashion, you wrote a book. Like, what?
I wrote 3 books, yeah.
Okay.
I'm about to start the 4th book. Wow.
You wrote 3 books, now you're on book number 4. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. How did you get into fashion?
I was one of those people who was born to do something. Okay. And when you know from a very early age, that you're obsessed. And that's what I did say about fashion. From the time I was maybe 3 years old, I wanted to pick out my clothing for pre-K and I would just go crazy if I couldn't wear what I wanted to wear, and I wanted my mother to respect that, which I think we really butted heads there. But one thing my mother did for me, but it also had to do with the times because I was born in 1945. There were no department stores. So we lived in LA, Holmby Hills, borders Beverly Hills. My mother would take me to a personal tailorist twice a year. And we would pick out, my mother and I, each, she was doing her thing. I would pick out my fabrics. I would look through picture books of movie stars, which that was how you wanted to dress at the time. And I would choose what I wanted the tailor to make. And I remember one of my prides and joy was a circle skirt made in quilted black taffeta with a green velvet stem and 3-dimensional leaves and red velvet roses on it. Oh yes, I was a drama girl from a very young age and I wore it proudly. I loved it. That was a sort of introduction into fashion. I knew what I wanted to do from an early age, but I was totally against what society thought young girls should do, women should do, which was you didn't really go to college for an education. You went to college to find a husband, and you fit into that role. You got married. You didn't necessarily finish school. You had children. You had a prescribed life. And even though there were no female designers at the time, apart from Coco Chanel, and no manufactured fashion. Everything was sort of couture, and you dressed like your mother. You were just a younger version of an older woman. Just by happenstance, in my first semester at UCLA, somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, my girlfriend left me. My old lady left me. I've got a charter ticket, round trip to London. I have no one to give it to. Do you want it?" And, oh my God. So I went to London, stayed for about 7 or 8 months. My parents were livid. And I saw the birth of fashion, mod fashion. I saw the A-line dress. I saw makeup created just for younger women. It was revolution, and I wanted to be part of it. And when I came back and got into school again, my best friend was dating Jim Morrison from The Doors. We all would hang out together, and so I got into and got a boyfriend who was a record agent. And through him and through her and Jim Morrison, I met everybody. And what I loved to do was the super artistic side of it, which was take their denim, the way I would go out and buy a jean jacket and hand paint it with oil paints and acrylics, hand jewel it, slash it.
Wow.
Yeah, I would spend weeks on just one jacket. And so that was how I met Janis Joplin. She was doing her first audition for record labels. Everybody was in this club,
Right.
to see her, and public was not allowed in, and we were standing right by the stage. And I think that my boyfriend represented RCA Records, which would have been a big contract. And she was just a wild woman, and afterwards, he wanted to talk to her, even though he couldn't sign her. He said, "She'll never be anything." Oh my God, what a missed opportunity. She said to me, "Hey man, your jacket is groovy." And I'm like, take it, it's yours. And so I created outrageous denim pieces and painted leather pieces for guys like Rod Stewart, Sly and the Family Stone, the Jefferson Airplane. It goes on and on for years. And then one day I woke up and said, "Hey, wait a minute. You're like 27 or 28 now. The party is not going to last forever. You need to get professional or don't do it." And so I had enough money to buy the airline ticket to New York, which I thought was the epicenter of fashion in the U.S. And I knew just a couple of people here, but I took my chances and I came. I couldn't get arrested. I learned something very valuable. If you are in artistic industry, including films as actors, Broadway as stage performers, fashion, these industries live off of talent, but they have no respect or belief in talent. So as many times as I knocked on a door and told somebody, "I'm really talented, I can do it," I finally realized there was only one thing. Old saying of mine, money makes blind men see and deaf men hear. I needed one chance to design and make money for everybody around me. Bloomingdale's gave me that chance. They discovered me.
Wow.
Yeah, I was about 29 years old at the time. I had watched a lot of my contemporaries like Bessie Johnson get very famous. And I get thinking, what about me? And I finally got my chance and I delivered. But my light bulb moment, as I call it, in fashion didn't come until I was 59, when I now had a pudgy, middle-aged body. I had worn jeans all my life. design them. I was the rock and roll chick. I was a blue jean baby, and I couldn't wear jeans anymore. And I thought, blank this. I'm going to take my measurements, buy 3 yards of denim, and have my sewing ladies make a jean for me fits a body with an improbably round middle. Everything that happens to you as a female after the change of life, to your proportions. So very atypically for a youth-obsessed industry, I became famous and respected at the age of 60, when most people in fashion have packed it in a decade, 2 decades earlier.
That's a long route. That's what, like 40 plus years in fashion industry? Because I remember, I know the story of Vera Wang. I think she got recognized within her late 40s, early 50s. Why does it take so long? Why do you know?
That's what I think. I think that you put up a time clock for what you think is your ceiling. And that's not necessarily what karma and fate have in store for you. So people always ask me, do you wish you'd gotten discovered when you were younger? Not really, because I think that getting discovered and having an upward trajectory that's just improbable is something like a fireworks display.
Okay.
Boom. And then it all just sort of fizzles away. So actually it was pretty incredible to be 60 and suddenly have created and achieved $100 million a year at retail.
Wow.
Fashion brand. And be able to keep that through the more mature years of my life. And also it made for a great story because
it does.
Nobody did it. Right? So now I had a screenwriter contact me, and we're going to do a screenplay of my life, which has been wild and crazy. And it honestly, it makes for
it does. It really does. This is a very interesting timeline of events for you, because I'm already intrigued. I got to read the book. Too young. Is it Too Young to Be Old? Yeah, I need to read that book.
Yeah, it's autobiographical, but it's also about one other thing that was just totally improbable, which was getting diagnosed. I was the peak of my career at 72, believe it or not. And which you're in 2 youth-obsessed industries, television / entertainment and fashion. But okay, there I was.
Right.
Flying around the world. I made the brand international by going to QVC and begging them and having them put me on in the UK, in France, out of Paris, Italy, out of Milan, Australia, Toronto, and in Germany. Okay. So I went around the world. I think something's a little wrong. I keep telling myself I don't have time to find out what it is, and I have no cancer in my family history. It's going to be nothing. And then
boom.
I forced it. And it was stage 3. And it was in both breasts. And it was a different kind of cancer in each breast, just to make it more of a challenge.
Wow.
I walked into treatment terrified, and I realized this had to be my A game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be depressed. I couldn't be ungrateful. I needed to make all those nurses, everybody around me, love me and want to take care of me because I had no family. And I came breast cancer a different person, a better person, a happier person. I look back on breast cancer as a great teaching tool.
A great teaching tool. So breast cancer for you is a great teaching tool in life. So how did that inspire you, though?
You know, I'll tell you a story, and it's part of the one chapter. So when you are somebody like me and you've very happily devoted your entire self to your career and you love it and you love every minute of it, and it's taken away from you even for a year, and I was hoping it was just for a year, you're not left with much. I mean, who are you without your fame? Who are you without signing autographs in the local market? You mean, or airport, or you're just another patient. I wasn't used to being just another anything. And I think you also can armor yourself and be in an ivory tower where very little touches you. I suddenly had to be every person. I went to a fantastic clinic and within Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. And I'm sitting there. We all have our private chemo rooms, and it was founded by a woman, a female doctor. And so there were white orchids everywhere, and you had a catered organic lunch, and you got your own masseuse. You could either get your feet massaged or your shoulders and neck massaged with every treatment. I mean, this place was fantastic and posh, and I felt right at home there because that's what I was used to, right? 5-star hotels and first class on airplanes. And so I'm sitting there and someone comes in next door, but privacy, you can't really see them. Suddenly I hear the chemo nurse go, "Good to see you. Oh, you look great. How are you? Hey, everybody. Sheila's here." And all the chemo nurses come running into her room and they're saying, "Sheila, Sheila, Sheila, Sheila." So in my demented brain, thinking, who the bleep is Sheila? She's got to be either a news anchor on the NBC or she's got to be a Broadway star, or she's got to be a society lady who's contributed to the clinic but they're really excited about her. And then one of them says, "Sheila, don't tell anybody, but we've got 4 lunches for you to take back with you." And I'm thinking nobody even offered me lunch today. So I'm calling for a chemo nurse and I'm dying to know who this is. And I said, "First of all, who gets 4 lunches?" I said, "Nobody even offered me lunch." And she said, "Diane, you never eat lunch." I said, "Well, I know, but it'd be nice to offer it to me." And she said, "Okay, do you want lunch?" And I said, "Well, no, thank you. I do want to know who Sheila is." And I said, "Is she a news anchor, a Broadway star, or a socialite?" And the nurse looks at me like I'm insane and says, "No, Diane, she's a battered wife, living in a homeless shelter with her child because home is too dangerous. And the food is so bad in the homeless shelter that she goes for days without eating, even though she's got stage 3 breast cancer. And she loves the lunch we offered today, which was a sandwich and a piece of fruit. And that's going to be her main meal for the next 4 days. She'll eat 1 sandwich per day." I broke down in tears.
Oh, wow.
Thought to myself, I have just met the great leveler in life, breast cancer, amongst females. I'm used to being in a completely bitchy, totally competitive, take no prisoners career. And here we are. And Sheila and I are sitting literally feet apart. And they're recognizing her worth.
Yeah.
And what she needs. And that was total game changer for me. Total. And I thought, if I get out of this alive and well, I'm going to reassess my life. And that is when I went back on TV 9.5 months later, early, but I had to. I just thought, do I want to do this anymore? And I was now 74. I was getting over the strongest chemotherapy my body could tolerate for the longest period of time.
Right.
I just had a double mastectomy and literally went back to work 2 weeks later. And I thought, you know what? I want to do something else. I'm in a position where I can walk away and still be on top. And I was the #1 fashion tele-retail star for 20 years. I want to help other women. I've got the voice to do it. I've got an audience to do it. I've got the will to do it. And sometimes it's good to walk away from the party while the party is still at its height. And so I thought, what could I do? When I signed to sell my company, they didn't want me as competition. So very often you sign away your right to be in that part of the industry anymore. But I still had my voice. I had my experience from being 30 years on TV.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I think I could do my own podcast. And I want to be a silver-haired influencer. And that was one year, 10 months ago. And I've been having a blast ever since. Total rejuvenation. So I would say for anybody out there who's retiring or thinking of it, retirement is not for everybody. It certainly wasn't for me. But think about all the talents you've accrued through the years. Want to do something big and splashy like me, or small and subtle and personal? Keep the core of you alive and the fire burning by having purpose. That's what I say is truthfully one of the keys to aging successfully.
Yeah, Diane, you answered all my questions. Just sitting there like, okay, well, she answered that one. She answered her light bulb moment. She answered the advice this week. Wait, I'm just sitting here like, well, how did Diane know I was going to ask these questions specifically? Like, you literally answered all of them.
You know, because honestly, I was so fascinated when I got on TV with being on television, and I watch a lot of TV, including teleretailing. I always saw my life as a series made for television episodes, which it became before able to sell a screenplay of my life. So I just like that old song, I lived out my life in stages.
Yeah.
And one of them encapsulated, you know, I think I look back now on 79 and think, wow, you were a wild child, Diane. How did you survive this? Above and beyond everything else, here I am. And that is incredible. And I think that would be the other thing that to me would be the secret of successful aging. It would be appreciation for life. That breast cancer, when something is taken away from you, that you took for granted, and most of us take life for granted, at least up to a certain point. And then you get a chance to grab it and have it again. You will never take it for granted. You should be, as you're aging, be living in a zone of gratitude. Because to me, what am I doing here? These are the bonus years. And most people just throw away. We're told by society, especially as women, we're fertile. We have no purpose left. We have no worth left. And we're just a little dust ball and just take the broom and shove us aside. But you don't need to do that. What you do need to do is realize how precious life is. Truly live in an umbrella of gratitude. Gratitude, I went through breast cancer and I learned my lessons from it, invaluable lessons. And trust I am not someone that makes lemonade out of lemons on a regular basis. Not me. I'm a worry wart. I worry all the time.
This was great, Diane. Like you make me look forward to aging. Although I am young, I'm 36, but I do look forward to reaching your age one day. You know what I mean? Like reaching 79, 80, and to be just as fabulous as you, and not taking no shit from nobody. You know, it's just like as the elders that I'm around, as they get older, the no shit level, it just like drops. They're like, yeah, I'm not taking it. I'm not taking no BS. I'm not taking this. This is who I am. And this is who I intend to be moving forward. So I'm looking forward to aging. I'm loving this.
You know, the fascinating thing about aging is I always have people telling me what I should be doing or what I should be thinking, and they're all half my age. And my answer is, how would you know until you get here? So somebody 85 or 90 is telling me, no, Diane, try it this way. I'm going to listen. Otherwise, get the hell out of my way and let me do what I do. But I do say that I think that the most valuable thing I could tell you is this is not youth. This is not middle age. And don't keep trying to go back to the past. That's really damaging. And don't worry about the future. Learn to live in the now, and also know as you age, especially as a female, you will have to reinvent yourself and ask yourself a simple question. Who are you? Want to be? And what do you want to project to those around you? And that's kind of a full-time job. I gotta tell you, I'm still on the reinvention phase constantly, but you can have fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I would take that for myself and any woman that's listening that's either my age or younger or older. I'm definitely going to take that advice for myself because it is difficult trying to reinvent yourself with no guidance and then trying to understand who you are and bringing that authenticity forward and being vulnerable in the process. So it's a lot, but I'm going to take that word of advice, Diane, for sure.
And even if you're not in a creative field, be creative for yourself. Because truly, especially if you're an empty nester, although I am, quote, a single childless cat lady. I believe it's unhappy, unhinged cat lady, but that's on the unhappy cat lady. Be the woman you always wanted to be. Be the woman you always thought you could be.
Yeah.
Or nothing is standing in your way except the barriers you put up yourself.
Yes. Yes. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end the episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Diane, for telling your story. It was so fun to hear. And I can't wait to watch this back and edit it and listen to it and, take the gems that you have dropped and just put it out there. Thank you. Thank you.
This was a blast.
This was a blast. I learned a lot. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend.